Members of council, my name is Adam Martin. I'm the founder and executive director for F5 Project. We have 29 employees, 7 houses throughout the state of North Dakota, 4 of those houses in Bismarck, 1 in Grand Forks, 2 in Bismarck. I said 4 in Fargo. I messed up, but so I'm here tonight. Ricky had reached out and from my staff. He's over there. Had reached out and coordinated for F5 to come here tonight to give a presentation of what we're doing in Grand Forks. It was probably April last year we started working with Michael Dullitz at Public Health to form some kind of housing for people who are coming out of jail or prison or treatment centers to fill a gap in lower recidivism rates in Grand Forks. I don't know what they are exactly in Grand Forks, but North Dakota statewide, we see about a 40% recidivism rate. So 4 out of 10 people who are coming out of prison or jail are going back within 1 year. I think that number gets dramatically higher by year 3 and year 5. And I believe, from my understanding of what I've done statewide, housing is the biggest reason. If you don't have somewhere to go, you go back to where you know. And I've been in recovery for 6 years. I struggled with addiction and alcoholism for 15 years, and during that 15 years, I struggled with housing, I struggled with employment, I struggled with family relations, I struggled with having people in the community that were willing to work with me. But when I did sober up, the one thing that was the common denominator for me to get where I'm at today is peer supports. People who are in recovery with lived experience, who understand what it's like to be me, and help me navigate. And what I was used to was people telling me how to live my life, and what I got was people telling me how they were successful and how they got there while they were addicts and alcoholics. And so 3 years ago I started F5. I left a career in the tech field with High Point Networks in Fargo and started something. There was no agenda. I just started going into the jails and having conversations, and the message I was hearing over and over again was, I have nowhere to go. And so we opened up a house and formed some rules, and those rules consist of the first 30 days that you're there, that there's a curfew. If you follow through with everything that you're asked to do rules-wise, like stay sober, don't commit any more crimes, you're in good standing with probation, you can have that curfew removed for 3 days to start spending the night other places with a girlfriend or a wife, or if you want to go out of town and spend time with family or whatever. But you still have to be there at least 4 nights a week. We meet every Sunday as a house, and we do drug tests and breathalyzers. We have a house manager in the house, and then we also have staff that are monitoring all the people that are living in those houses. They have to have productive work at least 40 hours a week. That can be school or work. If they're on some kind of disability, they still have to have up to 40 hours of production of some kind, whether it's not, nonprofit volunteering or whatever. We've seen about 400 people come through our houses statewide, and we've only seen about 10 to 12 of them go back to prison or jail. The stats in Grand Forks is, in the last 6-7 months, we've had 10 people live there, which is dramatically lower than the other cities, because people are staying longer in the Grand Forks houses than they are in the other cities. I don't know why, other than maybe we've developed better partners in those cities to where they have places to go after they move out of F5, or they get those places faster. But we have met with some property owners here in Grand Forks. Campbell Properties is one of them. Goldmark has some properties here, and they've opened up an avenue for us that if someone completes our program, they stay sober, they follow all the rules, that they will relieve that barrier of not normally renting to them as long as they have a certificate from F5 Project. That was the goal. The goal is to create an opportunity for people who have reformed their lives, who are trying to change their lives, trying to get their kids back, trying to get a license, bank accounts, and trying to live a different life, and give them the opportunity to live like a normal citizen. We do not house sex offenders. We don't house rapists. We don't house murderers. We house people who are usually first-time drug offenders or made a mistake once or twice in their life. In this house, we've had one person commit another crime after living with us, and he only lived with us for 2 weeks. Of the 10, 9 of them have not committed crimes in the last year. We've had 2 people this week get an apartment in Grand Forks. We're relatively new here. We've had a meeting with Ward 1 and Ward 2 when they had their community meeting, and we presented F5 project to our ward, at least the people who were there. By the end of that meeting, and I'm sure that they can back us up, after I was done presenting, the whole room applauded us because there was actual monitoring happening on the properties in that district. We've been promoting on social media. We've worked with public health. We've partnered with the Grand Forks Police Department, and they know exactly where the house is. The probation officers know where the houses are and have full access to go to those properties at any time. The Grand Forks Police Department doesn't even have to notify us if they want to go there. I think that we've done a pretty good job notifying the public, letting people know what we're doing. We've been on WDAY and informed all of Grand Forks that we were going to be here. When there was a neighbor that had some discrepancy with us on why we were living next door to him, the first thing we did was reach out to the people in our wards, and we went and participated in the ward meeting. I'm not sure what else we can do to notify the public. I'm not sure what else we should be doing. I believe that we've done everything that we've been asked of, but we are willing to do more if needed. I believe that we have something that's filling a gap and creating opportunities for all people of different skin colors, different backgrounds, that all have one thing in common. They have a felony. And so we can either continue to do something and see the recidivism rates lower and see apartments get filled up with people trying to change their lives, or we can continue to have the homeless shelters be full all the time. The problem with that is most of the people who are going to the homeless shelter are readily able felons that could get a job and could find their own apartment, but due to the barrier, they're filling those beds, and those people with mental health problems or schizophrenia or need a high level of care are not able to get those beds. And so, like I said, I believe what we offer is something that no one else is offering. And of all the 29 people that are in our that work for us, the majority of them are in recovery, and we're just extending our network to them. Thank you.
Thank you. It sounds like an important safety net. Any questions or comments for Mr. Martin, Ms. Dockler?
Mr. Martin, I do have to extend my thanks. Anytime we've asked you to come and share information about F5, you've come, you've done a brilliant job at kind of relaying what your programs are for individuals that you're serving. And I do think that this is filling a gap in Grand Forks that we didn't have prior. And so I'm very grateful that we have this available for some of our citizens in Grand Forks that need these kinds of supports. I do think that it's just going to be ongoing education for people to understand why people need these kinds of supports in order to be successful into re-entry into the community. This isn't necessarily an experience that many people have, though lots of people have this experience. So I do think it's just going to be continuing to have that education and being willing to talk about it, and you've shown that you are more than willing to do that. If you would be willing to, again, come and have a meeting in Ward 2, Danny, you're welcome to do a joint meeting again with me. But just again, to have this conversation, again, we'll invite people to come. Ward meetings are not necessarily all that well attended, but I think if we can get ahead of ourselves and do a lot more promotion, perhaps we can have some more of those constituents that have had some of the struggles with F5 actually be present at those meetings so they can meet you face to face and they can meet some of your staff face to face and ask questions and be able to engage in a way that I think perhaps they're afraid to, or perhaps they just don't know how to. If we can give them that opportunity, I think that would be in your best interest, and then also all of the people that you're serving as well in our community as a whole. So if you are willing to do that, I would be happy to work with you moving forward.
Yes, I'd be willing to come back for another round of applause.
Any further, Ms. Moore?
Yes, just a quick question. I've never known what F5 stands for. And thank you, by the way, for doing this work. It's really great.
Thank you. The F5 stands for, it's a double entendre. I had 5 felonies when I started in my path of recovery, and it also is the refresh key on the keyboard. So my goal was to look at people and hit F5 and have a blank slate.
Mr. Sandy?
Of course, there are lots of success stories, and I've heard lots of good things about what's been going on with your house. I am a little bit concerned about how, although, and that's probably why you're here, there was a feeling, and I had the feeling, that there wasn't a whole lot of publicity on your coming to town. Mm-hmm. So are you planning on any more homes in our community?
That's
And if you are you going to let the people know prior to buying the house and doing the renovation and having people move in?
Thank you for that question. The answer to the question is I don't know. I don't know if we're going to open another house or not. I know that from what I've seen, the house is always full, which tells me that there is a need for another house. But I'm open to doing it in Grand Forks' correct way. Right? We didn't do this in Bismarck. We didn't do it in Fargo. We opened up houses, and it was just that. Like nobody, and so to be honest with you, it wasn't like I was like, I'm going to open up a house and not tell Grand Forks about it. We were just going off of how we did it in other cities, and now knowing that Grand Forks is asking for this, yes, I will.
Great. I certainly believe that there is the need in our community, and I do share in the applause and appreciate all the hard work that you're providing. I think we owe it to people that live in the residential areas to let them know what's going on.
Yeah,
So,
and I think that they better understand the type of people that we have in there and that they're not sex
exactly.
offenders.
If you have nothing to hide, you may as well tell people, right?
Yeah, yep.
Exactly. So
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.